Hello and welcome to Frank's School. This is going to be, this is the Hum 100 Part 2, third course of Frank's School, 41st day, first video, and going on with Frank's Tour d'Europe details. The two videos that you're going to see, I'm speaking softly again because it's way early in the morning and everybody's sleeping, about Seville. It'll be part 2. I took so much film footage and Erica so many stills that I decided to break it into 2 parts. So you'll see as we wander. To put that in perspective, Erica and I had gotten to Seville maybe at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we only had that evening or the next day. We had the option of staying in Seville for a full day. I'll tell you about that tomorrow or next time, but we didn't take that option. We moved on. Anyway, as we wander, well, before we wander on, thoughts I had about what you saw if you looked at those videos is I've noticed it's an obvious thing that walls tend to have a separation, and the tiling is what made me realize that. When in that elaborate, wonderful tiling inside that building that I went, the tile was from here down, and from there up was lighter. And that generally is so often the case that people, even with paint, will make a difference in a wall. I've noticed it before, and I've thought about it before. I guess there's more wear on the lower part of the wall. Wainscoting, oops, I forgot the end. With wood, it's done with wainscoting and a chair rail. a really nice touch in a wooden building. So I wanted to point that out. You can see it with the tiling. Also, plaster. Maybe I am too harsh on plaster. As I've said, I don't like that it covers up things. But I suppose in a way it protects it. I don't know. There is a role, I'm sure, for plaster. So I have mixed feelings about that. I mentioned that sprayed water was surely a modern touch. Well, maybe not. The thing about it is it was such a fine mist that it seemed to me that had to be done with very high pressure through a very small nozzle to do that. And I couldn't imagine how the Muslims or the old Spaniards or Arabs could have achieved such a fine mist. But the idea of spraying water as part of comfort, that probably is, I imagine that is very, very ancient. And at one point you're going to see a girl playing with a water balloon at a fountain. It was just a nice touch that I came across that. And the joy that she gets from squirting the water up in the air and then going under it and letting it fall on her, it's a beautiful thing in a way, and it's age-old. I suppose that's age-old, the joy, especially if it's hot, of having water fall on you. I've said probably many times already that the Muslims, the Moors, the Persians, they so love water. It's like gold to them. In Northern Europe, where there's there's too much of it in many places, it's a problem. Maybe later I'll say more about that. Well, in our the second part, as we wandered on, we headed in effect downstream, although we didn't know it. And you'll see more about gardens. It's more outside, not that unbelievable cathedral. But we go past that, and there's still unbelievable stuff that we were passing up. I knew that then, and I certainly know that now. Going back to Seville, one evening is not enough in Seville. But anyway, as we go down, I had said earlier, I think, I don't know why, but I always look for where is the water supply of a city or a town. And I'm quite sure that I found it in Seville. We got down to where it debouched, I think you say, it emptied out in the old times into the river. We come down to the river. And when I say the water's flowing, I think I say left to right. I think the water's flowing right to left there, but I don't know. There's a canal. I just was not in Seville long enough to study that. But anyway, it'll be very much about gardens, and I'm so aware of what we passed up. And I guess the other thing I'll just tell you, I will say that as we went back to our hostel, that's when I felt satisfaction that I had figured out the way water goes through that city. There's a very slight slope to the whole city, and I didn't film enough to show you all about this, and I'm a little surprised I didn't. But when I find the cottonwood trees, I think they're cottonwood trees, right in that area, that's where I began to understand, aha. I suspect maybe what happened was my battery ran out, or my memory ran out on the camera, that I stopped where I suddenly stopped. All right, and finally I wanted to say that late May is a good time to travel. There's tourists there, but nothing is crowded. Boy, I'll bet that gets very crowded in that area later. All right, see you next time.